Well, hello and welcome to this video, and unfortunately, it's a really sad day that I have to do this, but can't make it wait any longer. I was disappointed with Governor Phil Murphy when the whole fare hike was announced. I don't think it was the right thing to do. They should have been another way to do this, but I understood that, at least by raising the fares 15%, that there wouldn't be any service cuts. It just seems like every politician in this country doesn't understand that we need to be improving public transportation. Raising fares on public transportation is bad enough, but when you're cutting service on public transportation, you are contributing more and more to the climate crisis that we have at hand. And I don't think anyone in this country understands how bad this climate crisis is. But then again, this is a country that a lot of people seem to support Donald Trump. So, like I said, the United States, unfortunately, has moved very far to the right. And this is just another example of it. So Phil Murphy said we wouldn't have to cut service. Well, NJ Transit has cut service to Six Flags. That's right. There is no public transportation to Six Flags Great Adventure anymore. And there is no other bus service in Jackson, New Jersey, where Six Flags Great Adventure is. So now people without cars aren't going to have a way to get to Six Flags. And they're going to be encouraged to drive instead, which is going to create more greenhouse gas. Great going, New Jersey Transit. So, and this 15% fare hike that they recently approved doesn't even actually fix the agency's money problems. And Phil Murphy said when he was becoming the governor, he was going to fix NJ Transit because Chris Christie left it a mess. But he hasn't fixed it. All right, I'm going to read a couple of articles to you here. While NJ Transit's vote to increase fares by 15% puts an immediate budget question to bed, it is far from the end of the debate about the picture of solving the financial woes of the nation's third largest transit agency. This gets us to next year, says NJ Transit CEO Kevin Corbett on April 10th, after the agency's board voted to increase fares starting July 1st and hiked the rates by an additional 3% annually starting on July 1st, 2025, and continuing with no end date. Looming on the horizon is a projected $767.6 million fiscal gap in fiscal year 2026, which starts on July 1st, 2025. The fare hikes reduced that from original projections of $917 million. One way to close that $766 million budget gap is something that Phil Murphy is wanting to do, which is a corporate transit fee, which would levy a 2.5% tax on the earnings of about 600 companies in New Jersey that would make a profit at least $10 million a year. But a bill that would make that fee happen still hasn't been introduced to the state legislature. So while proposed by the governor, it requires the state legislature to introduce and pass that legislation first. So where's the state? Why is the New Jersey state legislature not doing this? Though progressives have lauded the idea for the tax, of course, the business community and Republicans have rebuked it. State Senate Assembly and Murphy administration officials say on Friday they have no updates on when the legislation would be approved. And if approved, it would be the closest thing NJ Transit has had in 40 years to a dedicated funding source. Corbett described it as the third leg of the stool that makes up NJ Transit's funding. Except earlier this month, Murphy hinted that it wouldn't be permanent, this tax. So the corporate transit fee, it has never been my assumption this is forever and always a huge fiscal hole to be filled. NJ Transit needs to find a way toward being able to stand, if not on its own, largely on its own, or do more on its own, said Murphy's response to a reporter's question. So Phil Murphy, just like the typical attitude, in Europe, public transportation is heavily subsidized, but no, we can't do that in the United States. It's got to stand on its own. I'm sick of hearing about it. Doesn't matter whether they're Republican or Democrat. It seems like all these politicians just don't want to support public transportation, and Phil Murphy apparently seems to be one of them. So this is Murphy's comment misses the argument that transit is part of essential infrastructure, similar to roads, fire departments, police, schools, road maintenance, and postal service and healthcare, Baldwin said. So, as you know, Phil Murphy's an outgoing governor, and there's going to be a governor election this year, and we don't know what his replacement yet is going to be, but I'm hoping that at least one of the candidates running will support public transportation, because it's clear that Phil Murphy, throughout his campaign, he said he did, but now that he's leaving, it doesn't seem like he gives a damn. It's really disgusting. It really is. This is a long article here. I'll link it below because I got to read to you another article that was posted here on the Reddit for NJ Transit, NJ, because this is a behind a paywall. So NJ Transit's already planning cuts. Contract to cut $300 million in costs hidden from the public. It was hidden from the public before the 15% fare hike vote and 3-minute read Colleen Wilson, North Jersey. So I don't know. I guess they're trying to say we're worse than MTA because it seems like they are worse than the MTA now. The central goal of a consultant hired to do a restructuring analysis of NJ Transit was to identify about $300 million cuts for the coming fiscal year and another $300 million the year after that, the document obtained Wednesday by NorthJersey.com. The information was withheld from the public until a request for quotes document was emailed to NorthJersey.com at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, more than 2 months after a public information request was filed, and about 40 minutes before the agency board voted unanimously to approve a controversial fare hike of 15% starting July 1st with additional 3% hikes each year after that. The contractor should have an original goal of a 10% operating budget reduction for fiscal year 2025 and an additional 10% operating budget for fiscal year reduction for fiscal year 2026. 10% of NJ Transit's $2.964 billion budget for fiscal year 2025 comes out to about $297 million, and 10% of its estimated fiscal year 2026. So the contract with North Highland. So this is about a contract here, all right. And I'm going to link again all this stuff below, all right. I'm not going to read the whole thing in its entirety, but I'll link it below. But it says here. The $96 million in cuts NJ Transit has already identified for the 2024-5 fiscal year included 3% reduction in administrative headcount, eliminating the popular Flex Pass discount ticket program requiring 30-day expirations on one-way tickets. And you thought the MTA was bad. Dropping a locomotive engineer class and ending a hiring bonus for new bus drivers. And each and every one of the NJ Transit board unanimously approved this plan. Of course they did. And it says here, Kevin Corbett said that there would be no service cuts in the 2025 fiscal year, which is a lie because we have service cuts, but would not guarantee the absence of service cuts in the 2026 fiscal year. So again, I'm very disappointed in Phil Murphy, and it's just this one more reason why I don't want to wind up having to go live in New Jersey, because the transportation there is worse. It's a worse situation than Long Island. Way worse. And I think they cut service on the 67 too, because I was looking at the 67, which barely runs at all. I mean, this is the only route that serves Ocean County College, by the way. It's the only route. Not even Ocean Ride goes there. I mean, look at how few runs they have. I think they cut service on this 67. I'm going to have to go and look and see. So here we are, cutting service in a time of global climate crisis. Only in the United States, folks. Doesn't matter the party. I keep saying, Long Island's going down. Central Long Island's going. Now, I got to think about the country as a whole, folks. This whole country is going down the tubes. We're making very big mistakes here. All right? And as far as me winding up having to live in New Jersey, next person who tells me to shut up and go live in New Jersey, well, I can't say it here. But you know what I'm thinking. All right? I'm not going to shut up, and I'm not going to go live in New Jersey because that's a worse situation than where I'm now. I'd still rather be in Mineola than New Jersey, especially after seeing these cuts. This is terrible. Governor Phil Murphy, I am usually disappointed. The first time I was annoyed with him was when he closed the parks. And then he kept the restaurants too closed during the pandemic. But this is inexcusable. It was bad enough, too, that he brought back the bear hunt. That was also inexcusable because you have a bunch of snobs complaining about bears, even though they moved to the country. But this is completely inexcusable. Phil Murphy, just another typical United States politician, claims he cares about the environment, but yet his actions say he doesn't care at all. He doesn't realize that we're in a climate crisis. Instead, he'd rather cut public transportation. It's disgusting. It really is. How come they don't do this in Europe, Phil? Huh? How come that? We need to be more like Europe. Don't you get it? Doesn't anyone in the damn country get it? It doesn't seem like it because they all support Trump. You know how many freaking comments I've got? Let's just see. You want to see how many comments I've gotten on the Trump Shorts video that I put up? So many comments here supporting Trump. I mean, it's disgusting. It really is. Just look at the comments. Let's see if we can go to the comments. It would be nice if I could actually read them. It's not what I want to do. Let's see if we can actually go to the comments here. It would be nice. I could have view on YouTube, I guess. But
So how's this?
that's not the right video, John. This is the right one.
Well, here we go again with the circus that is across the street
And you can see we've got
at the Belmore train station. The South.
So I got a ton of 96 comments, and look at this. Almost all of them support Trump. Trump. Some of them think he's a god. I mean, it's unbelievable. This country is so screwed up. Look, it doesn't mean I like Biden. All right? I'm fed up with this country as a whole. All right? Both parties suck. All right? Yeah, we're up to 111 dislikes on the video against Trump. Both parties suck. They both don't care about the environment. They both don't care about equality. And they both letting criminals free. All right. So we got a climate crisis going on, but again, nobody really in this damn dumb country of ours seems to understand that. Look at all this ridiculous heat that we have that's already building. We got 90s into the Dakotas right now. This is none of what we're seeing here is normal. This is all due to climate change. And nobody seems to want to take action the United States and the people in this country are so in love with having sex with their damn cars that they can't give up their cars just a little bit and take public transportation. It's unbelievable. It really is. It really is. We are the dumbest country on this freaking planet right now. All right? What kind of country, when you have so many people support Trump, what kind of country do we live in? I mean, it's disgusting. It really is. And I know people say, shut up and go to Canada, shut up and go to Europe. I might just do that. Especially when the climate crisis gets worse and we see large storms come to the United States and destroying large parts of this country. Do you think the world is going to help us when we refuse to accept the reality? I don't think so. America, you need to wake up and realize what's going on. And Phil Murphy, I'm very, very disappointed in you. I really thought you were better than this, but I could see you're just like everybody else. Shame on you.